Hi and welcome to today's video in the Study Unifees Daily Vid series. Today we will be talking about the GRE. As you know, a new format for the GRE has been introduced as of the 23rd of September 2023. First, in this video, we'll be exploring and understanding the new format. Then we will have a look at all the question types in the GRE. First, let's understand some very important features of the GRE. It is a computer-based test. The entire test, including analytical writing, is conducted on the computer. This is also a computer adaptive test. The GRE is section adaptive. To understand this, what you have to understand is the first verbal section will be of average difficulty level. However, if you do well at this section, the second section from verbals will be much more difficult. The same is true for the math sections. Finally, the GRE can only be taken at an authorized test center. There are several test centers in your country, no matter where you live. Now, let's talk about some significant changes in the new GRE. As we stated earlier, this format is now in effect as of the 23rd of September in 2023. The first major change is that now there is only one essay. Analytical writing now only has analysis of an issue, and there is no more analysis of an argument. Another significant change is that there is no unscored section. Neither is there a research section. This means that the new GRE is significantly shorter than the previous version. Now, let's look at the format of the revised GRE. As always, the GRE starts with analytical writing. But remember, this time there is only analysis of an issue and no analysis of an argument. This means that analytical writing will be over in exactly 30 minutes. Next, there are the verbal sections. The verbal sections are significantly shorter too now. Section 1, and remember, this section is of average difficulty level. Section 1 is just 12 questions to be completed in 18 minutes. Section 2 is 15 questions to be completed in 23 minutes. The quantitative reasoning sections too have become significantly shorter. The first quantitative reasoning section is 12 questions to be completed in 21 minutes. The second quantitative reasoning section has 15 questions which you have to complete in 26 minutes. Now let's talk about navigating the new GRE. Here, there are no significant changes. Like previously, you can preview and review questions. You can even tag questions and skip. This GRE, like the previous GRE, is not question adaptive, so you are allowed to serve as much as you like within a section. You can also change and edit your answers multiple times. As previously, there is an on-screen calculator for your use in the quantitative reasoning sections. Now, let's look at all the individual question types. First, we'll be looking at the verbal reasoning questions. The most challenging verbal reasoning questions for a vast majority of students is reading comprehension. In reading comprehension, you have to understand vocabulary in context. That means how a particular word is used in context in a passage. You have to understand the meaning of paragraphs and larger bodies of text. You have to distinguish between major and minor points in a text. In reading comprehension, you also have to summarize a passage. You must also be able to draw conclusions from information that is provided in the passage. Also, you have to extrapolate reasoning. That means you have to use your inferential reasoning from incomplete data to come to conclusions. In reading comprehension, you also have to be very good at correlating different parts of a long or short text. You also have to identify an author's perspective, his viewpoint, and also the assumptions an author is making. Also in reading comprehension, authors take positions most of the time. You have to identify the strengths and weaknesses in a particular position taken by the author. You may also be required to identify alternate viewpoints and develop your own reasoning given these alternative viewpoints. Now let's look at the question type in GRE reading comprehension. The first question type is multiple choice, one answer. As you can see, there will be a passage, and in multiple choice, one answer, you will be given 5 answer options: A, B, C, D, and E. Your job is to click on that one correct answer from among these 5 options. The second kind of multiple choice question is the multiple choice, multiple answer question. Here too, you will be asked a question from the passage, but there are only 3 answer options, which are A, B, or C. Any one, any 2, or all 3 could be the correct answers. Here, the point to note in this question is that there is no partial credit available, which means you have to identify all the possible answers. If you identify one correct answer but not the other, you will not get any raw points for your answers. The third kind of question in reading comprehension is sentence selection. You will be given a particular criteria to which a sentence in the passage must correspond. Your job is to click on that sentence. To earn that raw point, you have to click on the correct sentence, which corresponds to what is written in the question. The next verbal reasoning question is text completion. Text completion has a prompt that is 1 to 5 sentences. This prompt could have 1, 2, or 3 blanks in it. If a prompt has only 1 blank, then 5 answer choices will be available for the blank. You have to identify the one correct answer. However, if a prompt has 2 or 3 blanks, each blank will correspond to 3 answer choices. The answer choices for different blanks function independently. This means selecting one answer choice for one blank does not affect whatever answer choices you select for the other blanks. For a single blank, there is only one answer. For 2 or 3 blanks, there are multiple answers. And again, let me reiterate this point. There is no partial credit available. So, if a prompt has 3 blanks, you fill in 2 blanks correctly, but 1 blank incorrectly. You will not get any marks for your efforts. This is an example of a text completion with just 1 blank. Note, there are 5 answer choices: A, B, C, D, and E. To get that raw point, you have to identify the one correct answer for the single blank. This is an example of a text completion with 2 blanks. Note, blank 1 has options A, B, and C. Blank 2 has options D, E, and F. You have to identify the correct answer for both these blanks. Again, remember, there is no partial credit available. This is an example of a text completion prompt with 3 blanks. Firstly, note the length of the blank. Generally speaking, when there are 3 blanks, expect a prompt of at least 4 to 5 sentences. Blank 1 has 3 options: A, B, and C. Blank 2 has 3 options: D, E, and F. Blank 3 has 3 options too: G, H, and I. Remember, you have to identify the correct answer for all 3 blanks in order to get your raw point. The final verbal reasoning question is sentence equivalence. This question consists of a prompt made up of only 1 sentence. This sentence has a blank in it. Note, there are 6 answer choices: A, B, C, D, E, and F. But there are 2 correct answers. Again, in this question, there is no partial credit available, which means that you have to identify both answers correctly in order to get your raw point. Next, we come to quantitative reasoning. Quantitative reasoning is based on several areas of mathematics. Firstly, there is arithmetic. In arithmetic, you are tested on your knowledge of properties and types of integers. You are tested on how well you understand arithmetic operations, exponents, roots, estimation, percentage, ratio, rate, absolute value, the number line in negative and positive numbers, decimal representation, and sequences of numbers. Next, there are several algebra topics upon which you are tested. Operation with exponents, relations, functions, equations, inequalities, linear and quadratic equations and equalities. Also in algebra, you are tested on solving simultaneous equations, setting up equations to solve word problems, coordinate geometry, graphs of functions, equations and inequalities. Then there are the geometry topics. In geometry, you should be good at parallel and perpendicular lines, circles, isosceles triangles, equilateral triangles, quadrilaterals, and other polygons, congruent and similar figures. Also in geometry, you should have a very good knowledge of 3-dimensional figures, their area, perimeter, volume. You should also be familiar with Pythagoras and angle measurement in degrees. Finally, there are the data analysis topics. Data analysis topics test your knowledge of basic descriptive statistics such as mean, median, mode, range, standard deviation, in quartile range, quartiles and percentages. Data analysis topics also include interpretation of data in tables and graphs such as line graphs, bar graphs, circle graphs, box plots and scatter plots. Also, elementary probability such as the probabilities of compound events and independent events. In data analysis, you are also tested on random variables and probability distributions, including normal distributions and counting methods. Now, let's look at the different kinds of questions in quantitative reasoning. Firstly, we will try to understand quantitative comparisons. In quantitative comparisons, you are given 2 quantities, quantity A and quantity B. The answer choices are always the same. You have to decide whether A is the answer, whereby quantity A is greater than quantity B. If B is the answer, then quantity B is greater than quantity A. If C is the answer, both the quantities are equal. However, if D is the answer, then the data provided relating to quantity A and quantity B is not sufficient to come to a decision about which quantity is greater. This is a sample question of quantitative comparison. Now let's look at quantity A, the least prime number greater than 24. The least prime number greater than 24 is 29. Now let's look at quantity B, the greatest prime number less than 28. The greatest prime number less than 28 is 23. Therefore, quality A is greater and answer A is the best option here. The next kind of question in quantitative reasoning is multiple choice with more than one correct answer. Look at the example in this video. The question is, which one of these following integers or whole numbers are multiples of both 2 and 3? We can see that C, which is 12, D, which is 18, and F, which is 36, are all divisible by both 2 and 3. And therefore, the answers to this question are C, D, and F. Another question in quantitative reasoning is numeric entry question. This question is quite different from the other quant questions. It is different because you have to enter an answer using your keyboards. Point and click is not available in this question. Now let's look at this question. One pen costs 25 cents and one marker costs 35 cents. At those prices, what is the total cost of 18 pens and 100 markers? Given these prices, 18 pens will cost $4.50. However, 100 markers will cost $35, and therefore the answer you are required to enter is 39.50 or $39.50. Finally, let's look at an example of data interpretation sets. This is a table of 5 different stores. It shows the annual percent change in dollar amounts of sales at 5 retail stores from 2006 to 2008. Now, let's look at a sample data interpretation set. This table is of several stores. It shows the annual percent change in dollar amount of sales at 5 retail stores, P, Q, R, S, and T, from 2006 to 2008. Now, let's look at the question. The question is, if the dollar amount of sales at store P was $800,000 for 2006, what was the dollar amount of sales at the store for 2008? Now, if in 2006 the dollar sales was 800,000 K, then the increase in 2007 would have been 880,000 K. But a decrease of minus 10% would be 88,000. So if you take away 88,000 from 880,000, the best answer is B, 792,000. Thanks for watching this video. For more videos like this, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Connect with Study Unifees for your plans to study abroad or for your preparation for the GRE. Till then, all the very best and take care.